All right, so this is the highlight of the museum. We're going to see about walking on. So there's small steps, handrails. Always look forward and be careful. So this is the hatch that you would go down. And this is going to give you a little information sign there. But this is where you would be careful going down into the submarine. So we're coming forward and we're going to attempt to go down the forward torpedo hatch. Watch your step. Red and black tape is a good indicator that you could hit your head. Very steep as I come down, very large steps. And now I'm in the forward torpedo room. You have 4 torpedo tubes here. They would be torpedoes in this space to be readily loaded whenever the captain would anticipate that he would need them. Also, typically there's a torpedo already in the tube waiting to be launched at a split second if they receive a contact. So in this space, you would have crew that would be sleeping here in this space. They would be sharing the bunks, and there's a total of probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 crew members that would share the bunks here. And then we're going to walk towards the officer's mess, sonar, radio control. Okay, we're going to move forward into the officer's galley area right here. And you can see here, this is nicer space. You would also have the captain's quarters in this space. Radio control, emergency phone. Your sonar area is here, and you can hear the active sonar ping as it stopped. Looking for any submerged contacts. This would be the captain's quarters here. So he has a curtain to separate. The captain would not share this space. This would be his private place. He has a private sink. A small desk with drawers. In here. So we're going to come out of the captain's room. And then you have a bathroom immediately to your left there. And then you come into the conning or command and control room. And here you would have all your navigation equipment. So you would have depth controls. You would have your bow planes, your steering, your gyroscopic compass that would be here. And then your torpedo controls, your firing controls would also be here. Your bow planes, your depth gauges there, and your navigation chart. But last but not least, you would also have your periscope here to look for surface contacts. Right there. But again, This is a mine-laying ship. This is not an attack boat. This is where he would prepare meals. Most of the time, he would also sleep in this area. He may have to share that bunk with someone else. And then now we're coming into the engine room. So on this particular ship, you would have 2 diesel locomotives. One is here, one has been removed. You would also have 2 electric generated motors. So the diesel locomotives would be used on the surface, and then they would also charge the electric motors. And then when you would submerge, you would come off diesel because you need oxygen for the consumption of the fuel. And then you would also switch to electric. So your speed on the surface is much faster than submerged. But when you have other people listening with sonar, you want to be as quiet as you can. Even in World War II, you wanted to be as quiet as you possibly could. So also in this space, the crew members would not wear heavy, thickened clothing because this space is extremely hot with both diesel locomotive engines running. It would be smelly of oil and the heat coming off these engines. They would try to keep them as clean as possible, but the oil residue would get everywhere. So now we're coming into the rear hatch doorway, very low. And in this space, up to 16 crew members, enlisted people, would share this space. They have removed some bunks out to give people benches to sit, but you would have your bed mattress in these racks. And again, 16 people would share this space. And you would have foot lockers that you would store your items in here. You also have a battery compartment and then a rear toilet back here. All right, we're going to make our way out of the submarine. All right, we're going to make our way back through the engine compartment, exiting the submarine. You couldn't be a tall person as well going through the hatches, because there's not a lot of height there. So we're coming back into the galley area, the kitchen, the main control room, and then you would have also an access ladder that would take you up into the conning tower to the very top of the ship, where the captain on the surface could go up and look, and he could communicate with the crew. We're coming back through to the officer's mess and the captain's cabin to the left, sonar to the right. The captain would want to know about any contacts as quickly as possible. So that's why his cabin is adjacent to the radio and sonar. The captain would want to know about any submerged and surface contacts as quickly as possible. So that's why his cabin, and I say he because in World War II era, it was a male. His cabin would be adjacent to the radio and sonar operator here. So literally, he could just knock on the door if the captain was sleeping at that moment. And we're coming back in the galley area here. and then coming through the hatch to exit out. Back in the rear torpedo room. We're going to exit out of the submarine, so watch your head, hold the handrails. Uneven steps. Grab the rails to give you assistance. And then we're back here facing the conning tower. And we're going to go aft of the submarine. More steps to go up. Just watch your footing, because this is the surface of a ship. And there's things just sticking out everywhere. They do have handrails up here you can hold on to. And we're going to come all the way here to the very end. And we're going to pan back through the museum. So I'm very impressed with this museum being inside this seaplane hangar. It reminds me of the submarine that is at the Chicago Museum Science and Industry, just south of Grant Park area. That submarine is a German submarine that was captured kind of towards the end of the war, and they have made it into a German submarine pen, just like the ship would be serviced inside a concrete bunker as well, off the coast of France. And they have cut large openings in the side of that ship to allow wheelchair access in. So I think that's really interesting that they did that. So go check out that submarine in Chicago.